Welcome to Grandma Doctor's Kitchen. I got a good one for you. I have a request for roast beef, okay? So I'm going to do a roast beef in the crock pot. But you do this the same way if you're doing it in the oven, but you just do it it takes less time, okay? So the first thing I did was I got a roast. It's only a 2-pound chuck roast, but you can get whatever type of roast you want, okay? All right, and I marinated it. I used crushed garlic. This I put on last, but I used Tony Satrin. I used garlic and parsley. I used onion powder. I used Lawry seasoning salt. I used garlic pepper salt. I used meat tenderizer because sometimes you don't know if it's tender or not, so you can't go wrong if you put a little tenderizer on it, okay? And then I used a little hot pepper to kick it up a notch. And what I did after I sprinkled all those over, about a teaspoon of each, I took this is crushed garlic, and this is what you see. I rubbed it on real good all over because it's crushed and it's okay. So the next thing I'm going to do so I marinated about 4 hours, but you can marinate at least 2 hours, okay? I marinated in the refrigerator about 4 hours, but 2 hours is fine. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put flour on it, okay? We're going to put the flour on it because we're going to sear it in hot oil on the stove before we put it in the crock pot. And that's what you're going to do before you put it in your dish, okay? You sear it to sear all the good flavoring in it, okay? All right? And this also makes the gravy that you want on it, okay? So I'm going over to the stove. I'm going to meet you at the stove, okay? Okay, welcome back. See, I have the hot oil. So I'm going to put it in a hot oil to sear it. Okay? That's about a third a cup of oil, because after I sear it, I'm going to make a gravy. Okay? So I'm going to use that to make a gravy. See? It's ready. It was about 3 minutes on each side, and I'll put it over in the pot, and then I'm going to use the drippings to make the gravy. Okay? All right, I'm gonna let this cook for about 5 minutes. And then I'll pour it over, and then I'll meet you over at the counter, and we'll put in our other ingredients. Okay? Welcome back. Now I'm going to put it on low, and I'm going to cook it for 4 hours. But I'm going to add a cup of onion, a cup of bell pepper, and a cup of celery. Okay? All right? See there? So, I'm gonna, if you're gonna cook it in the oven, you cook it for 2 hours. I'm going to cook it for 4 hours, and then I'm going to put in the potatoes. Now, and the carrots. Now, when you peel the potatoes, you soak them in cold water until you get ready to use them, put them in the pot, so they can stay nice and white, okay? And I make them big when I'm making a roast. I don't like them small. I make them big, okay? And then I'm going to put the last hour, I'm going to put the carrots and the potatoes, and they're big, and that's why I'm going to cook them for 1 hour, because so that the last hour, so total it's going to be 5 hours, but for 4 hours I'm going to cook it on low. Then the last hour I'm going to put these in, and the reason why I'm going to take an hour is because, see, they're big. It's big, and I want them to be nice and soft. And the crock pot is on low, so it's going to take about an hour. But if you was cooking it in your oven, you can check it to after 30 minutes to make sure that these are ready and soft, because it depends on how big your potatoes is how long you cook them, okay? All right, so I'll be back and I'll show you the finished product. Welcome back. We have the finished product, okay? And one good thing about using the crock pot is you don't have to plate it up. You can serve it from the crock pot so that it can stay warm, okay? But you see how it looks? All right. And so I made some cornbread to go with it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a little twist on the cornbread. I'm going to poke holes in it with a fork. I got a cornbread recipe on my show, on my channel, so you can go check it out. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a fork and I made honey. This is honey and butter. I put it in the microwave, and so I'm going to brush it on top and let the honey just ooze down in the bread. Just, you know, something different. We want to make something a little different sometimes, so be a little creative. Okay? All right? So I'm ready to do what I love to do best, and that's my taste test. So I let this cook for 5 hours, and because after 6 hours, because after 4 hours I put the vegetables in, and the vegetable was big. So after 1 hour, I checked them and they wasn't ready. So I let them cook 1 more hour. So 2 hours I cooked the vegetables because they was big. But if yours is small, you don't have to cook them that long, okay? You just have to judge by how you slice your carrots and your potatoes. But I like, when I'm doing a pot roast, I like for my potatoes to be big. I don't like them to be small, okay? But it's your preference, and you just check it like I did. You keep checking it to make sure that it's the consistency that you want. And see how my meat is falling apart? That's what you want. Want it to fall apart like that, okay? All right, it's ready. It's good. Scrumptious. Okay? And you see the juice? You can use the juice for whatever you want. All right? Because remember, we made a gravy to go with it, and see the gravy? You see it? I put my gravy over my potatoes. All right. So we have the bread. See the bread? Okay. Let me get a spoon so I can put my gravy over my potatoes. All right. Now let's have the taste test. Good. Very good. The meat is fork tender. The cornbread tastes good with that honey. Put about, I put a tablespoon of butter, and I put about a third of a cup of honey. Put more honey than butter. So good. So good. Nice and tender. The seasoning got locked into the meat and tastes so good. Now you can cook this in the oven half the time. So if you're going to try it in your oven and you don't have a crock pot, you do it half the time, okay? It'll take about 3 hours. It's your preference, but it is delicious. And I wish you could smell the aroma. It's so good. A meal in a pot. And remember, you put the lid back on to keep it warm, and you just eat as much as you want, as many times as you want until it's all gone. Okay? Happy eating to you.